What's happening, everyone? Nicky Hawkins, West Ham Fan TV, back once again with another video. Now it's about 2 o'clock in the morning and I've just returned from watching England unfortunately lose the European Cup final on penalties. Euro 2020 obviously goes to Italy. Congratulations to them. That was a fantastic team, fantastic opponents, and they've done everything they needed to do to win the game. Such a disappointing way to lose a final, obviously on penalties. It's always heartbreaking, and when it comes to penalty shootouts, I don't think anybody knows heartache like we know heartache. But that being said, before I get into the sort of negatives of tonight and obviously the feelings and the game itself, I think a lot of people misinterpret the song "Football's Coming Home" as arrogance, and it really isn't that. You know what I mean? And we love the song, and it's a good song, and it's all of that. But football did come home. It come home. It got the whole country behind them. It came back to the homeland, to England, where it was invented. And they give us a good tournament, and for that I can only be proud of England. Like, a lot of talk was about Southgate not being good enough, and there was times tonight where I don't think it was good enough, but we'll get into that later. But they've brought a pride back to the national team. They've brought, not just this year, but getting to the semi-finals of the World Cup as well. They've given us some hope, some belief, a light at the end of the tunnel where it was so bleak for so long. You know what I mean? And you got to look at first final since '66, so first final in over 50 years, 55 years, and we just fell a little bit short. We nearly won it. We was in control first half. I don't think he was Southgate. I think he seized a little bit. You see, like, the Italy bench, he was always proactive. He made lots of substitutes at the right times, changed the course of the game. I thought they was fortunate at times, Italy. I think the equaliser was fortunate. Pickford could have tipped that round the post, and that doesn't come back to Bonucci because they didn't have many chances. It was a game of few chances. I thought it was going to be tight. Luke Shaw, brilliant finish in the first couple of minutes of the game. But then it sort of dwindled out. Our chances dried up, and Italy had a lot of possession. And when it got to the penalty shootout, they was always going to be the favourites. They've got a really good goalkeeper in Donnarumma, and we've just got so many inexperienced players when it comes to that sort of thing. And I think Southgate could have been more proactive. I think when you look at the Spain game, they really got at Italy. I thought Spain, to be fair, were a better side, especially in the first half of the game. And the way they got at Italy was attack them, and they've got an aging defence that can get behind. Although you'd counteract that and say they had a lot of experience, and you see them sort of tactical fouls which Bonucci and Chiellini got booked for when we was through on goal, and we could have made an opportunity. But I've got to go with the negatives. Bit disappointed in Southgate with the penalty shootout, especially. Southgate, out of anybody in this country, bar Stuart Pearce, probably Chris Waddle, knows the pressure that a penalty shootout gives to a player. And they missed their first one. Kane dispatches, then Maguire dispatches, and then he made two subs, which I thought came too late in the game, which I thought was a bit crazy anyway, because you had a couple of minutes and you had Rashford. But he's obviously brought Rashford and Sancho on for penalties. They've obviously practiced during the warm-ups. but I don't think you give them long enough to warm into the game before they take their penalty. They're literally on the pitch. They probably touched the ball 2 times, and then the next time they're touching the ball or picking up the ball, they're going to go to the penalty spot. In the European Cup final, I don't think you give them boys long enough. I think they could have come on a little bit before, to sort of give themselves a few touches, get themselves adapted to the crowd, get their mentalities adapted and all of that sort of thing. To bring 2 players on, and basically the message is, right, it's down to you to win it for the country. It's a lot of pressure, and I think they buckled under the pressure a little bit, them 2 guys, because they missed the penalties. Obviously, Rashford, what the fuck was he doing? I don't know. I hate them little, and when you look back to Zaza in the last Euros, he's the one that lost them the penalty shootout there, with a stupid run up, and just run up to the ball and put your foot through it. Pick a spot and put your foot through it. There's no need for all this fancy run ups and trying to be clever. You know what I mean? Just put your foot through it, because even if the goalkeeper gets a touch, it can ricochet off of him, gives him less time to think about it. So Rashford, I don't know what he was doing. Sancho's was a poor penalty, good height for him. And then Jorginho steps up, and you think, it's, you think it's nailed on to win it. And then Pickford makes a save. And then the last person you want to see stepping up to, the penalty that's the most important to get you back into the game, well, keep you in the game, is a 19-year-old boy that has got no experience, and all this pressure's heaped on his shoulders, and look, we've seen the best. We see Mbappe fold under that pressure, but especially in a final. And Southgate, of all people, should know the pressure that this brings. And I feel so sorry for the kid. He's going to be in for a rough couple of months, and that's going to be playing in his head for a long time. Just hope he comes back strong. Of course, it's up to a few of the other players to step up. Luke Shaw could have stepped up. He's a more experienced player. John Stones could have stepped up, more experienced player. Sterling was still on, I believe, although there's quite a little bit of talk about that, whether he was still on or not, but I believe he was still on. He could have stepped up, more experienced player. He needed a big head in there, you know what I mean? Like, take the pressure off the boy. And he stepped up and he missed. And I don't think Southgate, even though Saka, they got to that point and Saka probably said, yeah, I'll take one. He's trying to be brave for the country, and you've got to respect that. Anyone that steps up to that penalty spot under them sort of pressures, you've got to respect them. But Southgate shouldn't have given him the option. Southgate should have said, look, son, this is you miss this, you're in trouble. Especially in that position, 5th. It's just heartbreaking. But it is what it is, and I'm very proud of England, and I'm very proud of the fans, and I'm the country's been buzzing for a few days, and we probably needed that. But as I say, once again, congratulations to Italy. Overall, I think they deserved it. Been really good team in the tournament. They've had a couple of bad years, but the thing we need to do now that we haven't done, but we did do from the last World Cup, is build on it. Is go again. You've got that experience under your belt. A lot of the boys are still young enough to go out, and especially Declan. You know what I mean? He's going to play a good few tournaments yet for England. Take that experience, put it in your pocket. A lot of these players from these sides that you see, like France and Italy and all that, they're winners. They've won big things in the game, and so are some of our players. But put this experience in your pocket. Remember that heartache, and when you're fighting for the shirt next time, make sure you're fighting to the very, very end. But proud of the boys. They've done us proud, but this wasn't good enough. Look, we've got a Premier League season to start, so all the West Ham content is going to start being rolled out from now. So let's build towards that, and we'll put this behind us, and we'll be at the World Cup again next year, I suppose. But It's been a pleasure over the Euros, but for the last time this summer, one thing left to say: come on, you three lions.